Welcome, I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel. Today we'll talk about the astrology of week 2 of June 2025. First off, I'd like to say thank you to all of my patrons. I appreciate all of your support. If you would like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/Nina Gryphon, and at the highest tier, you'll get access to my monthly Magical Elections ebook, which teaches you how and when to make planetary and other astrological talismans. You will also get early access to these video forecasts. June 8th, Mercury at 29 Gemini will conjoin Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter conjoin in the last degree of Gemini, representing the culmination of the story begun last week. The presence of Jupiter, the planet particularly related to the spiritual and the sacred, reminds us of the hero's gamos, the sacred marriage that ushers in divinely blessed fertility. Gemini, as we discussed last week, is associated with union of opposites as a cosmic force, represented as Mithuna or copulation in the Sanskrit name for Gemini. That this combination creates a great sacred future is indicated by Jupiter passing from Gemini, the sign of marriage, into Cancer, the fertile water sign of Jupiter's exaltation. This is a profound connection between the two planets that creates something greater than the sum of its parts. As you know from watching my videos, Mercury is the planet of magical transformation, the magician who gives meaning to the universe. When he meets Jupiter, Mercury is charged with bringing the highest realizations to us, and genuine spiritual insight and progress is now possible if we are willing to embrace it. The experience may feel disorienting since Mercury always brings situations and symbols with multiple possible meanings without ever letting us compress them into a single meaning or significance. That is why he is the trickster. He demands that we maintain our bifocal vision now, viewing everything as simultaneously mundane and sacred. June 8th, Mercury enters Cancer. Just ahead of Jupiter, into the fertile water sign ruled by the moon, Mercury will now bring us realizations in great quantity, for that is the nature of Cancer, to go forth and multiply. He is active and travels a great deal in Cancer, since the moon is also associated with speed and travel in traditional astrology. Note that Mercury is extremely fast right now, only spending 2.5 weeks in the sign. This means that speed, travel, and movement are emphasized in 3 ways. 1, because it's Mercury, 2, because he is in Cancer, and 3, because he's moving so quickly now. June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer. He now enters his exaltation, the moment all astrological mages have been waiting for. Jupiter loves Cancer because of Jupiter's prolific nature as creator and multiplier, which aligns with the nature of the moon, who rules Cancer. Jupiter was last in Cancer June 25th, 2013 through July 16th, 2014, and prior to that, July 13th, 2001 through August 1st, 2002. It often heralds a significant moment in U.S. history, as the U.S. 4th of July chart has key Cancer placements, including the Sun. Now let's talk about the mythology of the crab. According to ancient Greek sources, the crab was placed among the constellations by Hera, the enemy of Heracles. You may recall that Heracles was the son of Zeus, Hera's husband, with a mortal woman. Therefore, Hera tried to end Heracles in every way she could, starting in his infancy. In this case, when Heracles was battling the many-headed Leon Hydra, the crab pinched Heracles' foot, but Heracles crushed it. In return for the crab's attempted service, Hera placed it in the heavens. Now, the Hydra is a symbol of desire. You cut off one head and 3 more spring up in its place until you apply fire and cauterize the neck. There is a profound spiritual meaning to this that we will not get into now. The important thing, though, is that the crab represents the pinching, biting nature of desires, and its connection with the Hydra shows the difficulty of vanquishing this foe. That is the danger of the fertile, proliferating nature of Cancer. It brings blessings, but it also multiplies our own attachments, potentially distracting us from the spiritual path. So Jupiter entering Cancer brings mundane assistance and blessings, and simultaneously helps elevate our vision from the mundane to the sublime. June 9th, Mercury at 1 Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. Mercury now encounters a challenge from Saturn and Neptune in Aries. I will cover these aspects together, since Saturn and Neptune are basically conjoined now. This is a moment of danger for the great forces of the world that have taken a warlike posture. Mercury is the great planet of transformation, and he exercises his powers upon Saturn and Neptune. There could be a surprising turning point in a major conflict around this time. In the personal sphere, we must not take anything for granted or to take any information as gospel. Saturn with Neptune paints things in dark and somber colors, but it is far too early to say what will actually develop as time goes on. Mercury square shows that we are not assessing the situation accurately, and that it is easy now to make missteps and mistakes in our analysis. June 9th, Venus at 3 Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. This brings into tension Persephone and her abductor, the lord of the dead, Pluto, or Hades in Greek. Sometimes this combination can bring tension between great power on the one hand and youth and beauty on the other. In its extreme form, it can indicate sexual or other violence. This is also a combination of planets that indicates obsession and compulsive behavior around Venusian things, whether we are talking about compulsive seeking or extreme abstinence from pleasures of all kinds. It is hard to be normal and balanced about enjoyment right now, and finding the golden mean between the extremes is the best way forward. June 10th sees Jupiter's evening set at 0 Cancer. Just after Jupiter enters Cancer, he also enters the Sun's beams, where he will stay for about a month, rising as a morning star on July 8th. This means that his work for the next month is hidden, in the realm of the spirit, but it's no less productive for that. It ushers in a highly fertile time, since the eventual conjunction of Jupiter and the Sun will end one cycle and begin another. While Jupiter passes through combustion, he is not currently suitable for talismans, but he is extremely suitable for inner occult and spiritual work, and all that needs to happen in the mysterious darkness. It may feel like nighttime from a material or external perspective, but this short period is the daytime for the spiritual seeker. June 11th, Mercury at 5 Cancer will sextile Venus in Taurus. Mercury now aligns with Venus in a highly charged and appealing sextile that will persist for quite a while because the planets will move at roughly the same speed. This is a magical combination, specifically when it comes to the arts of love and beauty. We can create a charming change now, something that transforms our relationships and brings delight to the senses. Taurus and Cancer, being animal rather than human signs, represent beauty that manifests through the senses. It could have a spiritual origin, but it is experienced and noticeable through the usual means of perception rather than the mind, as we might have with the air signs, for example. We can say beautiful things and bring about change through our powers of enticement and persuasion. June 11th, we have a full moon at 20 Sagittarius. This full moon is ruled by Jupiter in his exaltation and under the Sun's beams, embedding the themes of hidden or secret fertility in the next 2-week period governed by this lunation. Jupiter also conjoins Mercury while squaring Saturn, suggesting economic drama or bad business news. It's a good 2 weeks for war. Sagittarius is a warlike sign, representing an archer, while the moon trines Mars in Leo, conjoining Regulus, the royal fixed star representing victory in conflict. Jupiter, like Venus, brings peace, but for the time being, the work toward peace is kept quiet, it's under wraps, due to Jupiter's passage through the Sun's beams. This lunation, dominated as it is by the superior planets, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, will have far-reaching effects and will require patience and time to fully work itself out. Thanks for watching. I'm Nina Gryphon, and this is the Astrology and Magic channel.